WIKISKY.com, and typing in the coordinates 5 hours, 53 minutes, 27 seconds, dash 6, 10, apostrophe 58. And how this reads when you type it out is 5 and a lowercase h, space, 53, lowercase m, 27s, lowercase s that is, space, dash 6, space, 10, apostrophe, space, 58. Again, that's 5h, space, 53m, space, 27s, space, dash 6, space, 10, apostrophe, space, 58. Now, when I did this in late 2010, the entire area was blocked off by a black rectangle, but the fringes of it were red, making it obvious that something was behind it. The word around the internet says that this blacked out area is no longer viewable, and those sources have blended the area in to look like the rest of the sky. This is entirely possible, as the telescope software used by them is not a live application, so they could insert whatever they wanted into these coordinates. They've done everything they can to hide this object and deny its existence up to this point, so any steps to further suppress the public's awareness of it would not surprise me. After comparing what the Bible has to say with what the Sumerian language says, here is what I know about Nibiru, Niburu, or Planet X. The logograms in the Sumerian cuneiform, the language of the Sumerians, are incredible, in that they can be combined in many different ways. In doing so, one word can tell an entire story and paint an accurate picture all along the way. The logograms describing this planet are no different. The logograms Ni and Buru mean one's own fruit tree. So Niburu means one's own fruit tree. This is because the planet is the same fruit tree from which the fruit was taken by the figure Eve in the biblical allegory of the Garden in Eden. The logograms Ni and Buru, the logograms Ni and Buru also mean to release or tear out and one's own. To release or tear out one's own. This is telling us of the coming harvest of the fruit that was previously stolen during the planet's coming passing, as you'll see below. Nibiru, Ni plus the logogram Bir plus U means that one to remove sleep. This refers to the sleep that we are told has been poured out on everyone by the figure known by the tetragrammaton YHWH in Isaiah 29:10. Let me say that again. Ni plus Bir plus U means that one to remove the sleep. This refers to the sleep that was poured out by the figure known as who some would call Yahweh in Isaiah 29:10. This is the same sleep, or tardima in the Hebrew, which means trance, that Adam was put into by that same figure, who some refer to as Jehovah or Yahweh, when Adam's fruit or rib was stolen. This name of the planet is telling us how this trance will soon be removed. After all, we were never told that Adam woke up from this sleep. Nibiru is also the dwelling place of the Father, known in the Bible by different names in various allegories. He is called Adam, Abraham, Esau, Esau, who some call Jesus, etc., who either took something out of themselves, such as the hidden meaning of Genesis 12:5, or had something stolen from them by a woman. Regardless of what you've been taught, these are all names for the same person, related to us in different stories. The woman of Revelation 12, who was clothed with the sun, meaning injected with the shine, when you translate that properly, unlawfully took the seed from the red dragon, which was Niburu, or Nibiru, the fruit tree, or fig tree, of Matthew 24:32 and Mark 13:28, which is now putting forth its leaves. And to read more about this parable and an in-depth analysis of it, you can read my paper, The Meaning of the Prophecy of the Parable of the Fig Tree. Figs are also red when they are ripe, incidentally. Eve also unlawfully took the fruit from the tree in the garden, in Eden. The figure known as Yahweh also took the rib from Adam, who actually was one of the trees of the garden, according to Ezekiel chapter 31. Can you see a pattern emerging here? It's one of those things that is right in front of us and has been for literally thousands of years, but disconnected until we start to piece together the themes. Let's look at some of the various characters and pieces of this story a bit more closely and the characteristics they share across different stories retold throughout the Bible. The character of the Father. This refers to Adam, who was also the first Christ, according to 1 Corinthians 15:45, and whose name also means red. The fruit tree. This is simply a reference to the fig tree, whose figs are red when they are ripe. Isaac, when taken back to the Sumerian logograms, means red bone. Esau, Isaac's firstborn son, whose birthright was stolen by the scheme of his mother Rebekah. His name means red also. Niburu is referred to as the red planet by the ancients, and Esau, who some incorrectly call Jesus, which is simply a play on the name Esau, E-S-A-U, meaning red, is also the firstborn of creation, according to Colossians 1:15, just as we're told Adam was, whose name we've already seen, also means red. Let's look at the character of the rebellious bride. This feminine figure is known in the Bible under different names or aliases. She is known as Eve, the one who took this forbidden fruit, Rebekah, who stole her red son's birthright, Mary, the mother of Esau, or Jesus, whose name, Mary's name, by the way, means rebellious, Jezebel, Delilah, Lilith, the woman clothed with the sun of Revelation 12, who stole the seed, the figure hidden behind the letters YHWH, who took Adam's rib after putting him into a trance, as well as the one who Isaiah 14:12 describes as fallen, which is Lucifer. Yahweh, or Jehovah, by the way, is an alias and backward rendering from the Aramaic language of the name Anunnaki, who are the fallen ones. And the word Yada, the root of the letters YHWH, in Hebrew means to fall, as I show in detail in my paper entitled Name Changes in the Bible and the Sacred Spiral of the Ark at innercircle.us. The seed. Let's look at the seed. The seed is used as a metaphor for fruit, the seed or sperm of a man, knowledge, Adam's rib, the true meaning of which I will share with you shortly, Esau, the red seed of the red Isaac, Jesus or Esau, and the red dust from which the red Adam was taken. I explain the hidden story of the red dust of Genesis 2 in more detail also at the Inner Circle. This woman who was engaged in this theft was pregnant with twins, probably a metaphor for being full of knowledge of two-sided DNA, or the Serapenta, as it's called, or you can call it the serpent. We'll get to that momentarily, and was ready to deliver or bring to earth that with which she could no longer contain. Just as someone who has knowledge of a big secret, for instance, they think that they must deliver. See Revelation 12. One of the children was Jesus, whose name really should be Esu, E-S-U, or Kingu, as he is called in the Sumerian creation epic called the Enuma Elish. This child was killed and went to be with the Father, just as it says in chapter 12, of Revelation. The other child was from Satan, just as I say about one of Eve's children in my book, Blueprint for Bondage. And I'll get to that in a moment. Suffice to say for now, the two quote-unquote kids were merged to create us. These can be seen as the good seed and the bad seed, Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau, Isaac and Ishmael, or Jesus, or Esau, and his twin, that is referred to in a shrouded manner in Revelation chapter 12. No matter how you look at it, these stories of the mixing of the seed that was stolen with the seed of man. That's what these stories are about. This is also the story of the iron mixing with clay in Daniel chapter 2, verse 43. The seed mixed with the clay of man is from the evil child of the woman, Jesus or Esau's twin, who, Genesis 12 tells us, will rule over us with a rod of iron. This is currently the situation in our world. I've said before many times that because we can do something does not mean that we should. And there has never been a more glaring example of what can happen than the situation that has been brought about in our world today, which was a result of the rebellion of this woman. And once again, I'll remind you that the name Mary, the mother of Jesus or Esau, means rebellious. We've seen the devastating results of a world that embraces technology, and they don't fully understand in the form of genetic and chemical manipulations going on today with Monsanto, the GMOs, the sheep, stem cell research, pharmaceuticals, and on and on. And this woman, just like many scientists today, was seduced or beguiled by the knowledge she had of the Serapenta, Serapenta, which is a metaphor for DNA in its current form, which I will explain momentarily, which she stole from the father, the fig tree, or the red planet Nibiru, whose name means the same thing, one's own fruit tree. She was not necessarily seduced by an actual serpent, although the jinn, G-I-N, from which she got this knowledge are said to be from Saturn, as I'll show below, and are said to be reptilian. You can watch the new version of the movie Clash of the Titans and look at the reptilian jinn, who wields the blue fire to see a theatrical depiction of these jinn. What this woman stole and misused was knowledge of how to mix the rib or figs with material that she received from the jinn. This information was contained in what the Sumerians refer to in their logogram HAR, which is a spiral arm bracelet of silver or other precious metal. They're one and the same. What it really depicted, however, was DNA code, such as the law, as in behind it. The word around the internet says that this blacked out area is no longer viewable, and those sources have blended the area in to look like the rest of the sky. This is entirely possible, as the telescope software used by them is not a live application, so they could insert whatever they wanted into these coordinates. They've done everything they can to hide this object and deny its existence up to this point, so any steps to further suppress the public's awareness of it would not surprise me. After comparing what the Bible has to say, wikisky.com, and typing in the coordinates 5 hours, 53 minutes, 27 seconds, dash 6, 10, apostrophe 58. And how this reads when you type it out is 5 and a lowercase h, space, 53, lowercase m, 27 s, lowercase s that is, space, dash, with what the Sumerian language says, here is what I know about Nibiru, Niburu, or Planet X. The logograms in the Sumerian cuneiform, the language of the Sumerians, are incredible, in that they can be combined in many different ways. In doing so, one word can tell an entire story and paint an accurate picture all along the way. The logograms describing this planet are no different. The logograms NI and Buru mean one's own fruit tree. So Niburu means one's own fruit tree. This is because the planet is the same fruit tree from which the fruit was taken by the figure Eve in the biblical allegory of the Garden in Eden. The logograms Ni and Buru, the logogram 6 space 10 apostrophe space 58. Again, that's 5H space 53M space 27S space dash 6 space 10 apostrophe space 58. Now, when I did this in late 2010, the entire area was blocked off by a black rectangle, but the fringes of it were red, making it obvious that something was